Do you have low back pain when you squat? I'm Dr. Morgan Riggins. I'm a physical therapist at OPAL Movement Therapy, and today we're going to go over some of the most common errors we see with squats that can lead to low back pain. We're going to go over them, and then we're going to go over how to work on correcting them, and we'll go over it with like a bodyweight squat, and then a kettlebell loaded goblet grip front squat, as well as a back squat with the bar. I'm going to roll my shirt up so you can see my back a little bit better. And then we're going to go over the two most common cheats we see. So just in general, when we look at the squat, we want to see that we initiate the movement with the hips, the spine stays neutral, and then we load at the hip, the knee, and the ankle. So for a more ideal squat, we want to have the spine staying nice and rigid. Now body weight, it's really not that big of a deal if I round or if my back buckles a little bit when I squat, but then when we add load, it's a problem. We want the spine to equally bear weight, and when it's nice and rigid and all the vertebrae stay stacked, it can bear the load better than if I buckle at a certain point in the squat. Then all that load is going to concentrate in that area of the spine, and it may render it vulnerable to injury. So when we load it, we really want a rigid spine. And unfortunately, it's just so easy to move more with the lower back or with the mid back, and so sometimes the back decides to move anyway. So we're going to go over it. What we see a lot with our clients and in the gym is when people collapse or they buckle in the mid back. And so what that looks like is as they go down, they get excessive extension or hollowing in the mid back. And so that tells me that they are not keeping the spine neutral as they initiate the squat. And it usually is an indication that they're not utilizing the hips to bend at the hips. Instead, they're just collapsing at the back to initiate the squat. The other thing we see is excessive rounding or a posterior pelvic tilt at the bottom of the squat. And so as we come down, things are good, and then the pelvis tilts posteriorly and the back rounds here. That posterior pelvic tilt or a little butt wink is a problem because sometimes, you'll go into it, but then you'll reverse it and you'll extend to come out of it. So it puts the lower segments of the spine at risk, especially under heavier weights. Typically, when we're going to make an error with movement, it'll happen right away when we start the movement. So if I'm going to buckle with my spine, it's going to happen the second I start to initiate the squat. Here, my ribs flare, my back arches, and then it maintains that on the way down. Also, at the bottom of my squat here, if I'm going to make an error, instead of coming up with my hips, if I'm going to use my back, I'm going to initiate by lifting with my back instead of pushing with my legs. So how do we fix it, right? The first step is learning how to maintain neutral spine. So keeping the ribs and the pelvis stacked, keeping the spine rigid, and then how do we then bend at the hips instead of bending at the back? And so I'm going to use this dowel as a reference, but I'm going to have it fixed at the base of my back and fixed at my head. And in this position, I want to find neutral first. So I'm going to arch my back, round it, settle halfway in between. That's neutral. And then I'm going to see if I can do my squat, maintaining that. And this takes effort. I feel my abs having to work hard. I feel my hips having to work hard. And you might find that this is too challenging. We might need to break it up and just work on the hinging piece. So we might have to find neutral and then just work on sending the hip back and coming back up. If that's not going well, you might want to use a bench as a guide. So I can rest my shins here so I don't have to worry about my lower legs. And then I might find neutral again. So arch it, round it, halfway in between. And now I'm really trying to isolate that hip movement without dropping like this and using the back. I also don't want to cheat and lose contact with the bench and just rock my shins back. So instead, keeping neutral, my hips go back, my head goes forward. This right here is one of the hardest things we teach in the clinic, so don't get frustrated if you're not mastering it right out the gate. A lot of times when we see low back pain clients, we have to master this skill and then integrate it into the squat. But if you're doing really well, the goal would be to use the bench as a training tool, right? Keeping neutral spine, hinging at the hip, then be able to wean off of it, keep neutral spine, hinge at the hip, and then we could apply this into the squat, and we'd start with like a box squat to set you up for success. So my butt is right on the edge, my feet are underneath me. If I'm here, It's like I'm in a bucket. It's going to be really hard to get out of it. Instead, feet are right underneath you, and then you're going to keep your neutral spine position. If you've lost it, go ahead and find it again. Arch it, round it, halfway in between. I'm going to hinge at the hips, and I'm going to push to stand up. And then to get back down, I'm going to hinge at the hips, and then I'm going to bend the knee and the ankle. And our goal is to eventually make this a fluid movement, right? So neutral, hips, knees, ankles, like so. And then once that's going well, then we would just want to practice without the stick. You might find that you still need to monitor. And the cool part is the fix for both cheats. So if you like to buckle in the mid-back or you like to drop and round your pelvis at the bottom, as long as you learn how to maintain a neutral spine and you learn how to maximize the hip hinge, it solves both problems, which is great. So in this position, I could either monitor here and kind of make sure my back is staying neutral, or I could even put my fingers in the front of the hip to make sure I'm flexing at the hip. A nice progression would be to apply this to a goblet squat. So I could tuck my elbows in. When we carry weight in front, we tend to want to lean back. That's going to set me up to arch the back or to slam my shins back to hinge. So instead, I want to make sure that I have my weight in the middle of my feet. My abs are engaged, so I found neutral. If I forgot how, I would arch it, round it, settle halfway in between, and then I go into my squat here. And as you're relearning, you may find that your depth feels a little limited because you're still learning how to separate back movement from hip movement. If that's going well, the next step is to apply it to a back squat with the bar. Just getting underneath the bar, it's very tempting to extend to the back because it requires shoulder mobility to get under the bar. So I am going to make sure once I get under the bar here, I need to find neutral again. So here, before I start, I'm already sticking my ribs up a little bit. So I arch my back, round it, halfway in between, that's neutral. I got to maintain that as I hinge, hip, knee, ankle bend, and then I push with my legs to come up. We might find that it's going really well on the way down, and on the way up, we want to arch a little bit. Nope, we want to pause, abs are on, push the ground away. Hip, knee, ankle, abs are on, push the ground away. So these are a couple of our favorite strategies to clean up squat mechanics to reduce low back pain. And it's very likely that if you've been dealing with symptoms with squats for a while, that you have some retraining to do. So you're likely going to have to work on hinging with a stick and a bench, working on it without. Remember that initiation of the squat, that hip hinge is just like an RDL or the beginning of a deadlift. So you would want to work on those. And while you're retraining your squat movement, you might need to modify the load or use something like a bench. So for example, I could do my back squat with the bench behind me as a training tool to remember to use some of that, right? And then, truthfully, it's one of those things where if it's not symptomatic during the moment, we're not as motivated to fix it. But if you're always noticing that your back is tight after heavy squats or things like that, we want to clean that up too, because we really want to prevent future injuries, right? If you have questions about this, please leave a comment. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit like, and then go ahead and hit subscribe. That little bell button will allow you to get notifications. We post YouTube videos every week, and then we also post daily on Facebook and Instagram, so check us out there.